But if we take a look at the worm tongue conversations between the producer and Tyrae, it's nothing that any of us would fall for, right? Because if we were, let's say, in love with somebody who we'd flown to Barbados to see, and then they stood us up, and then we came back, and then a month later we started talking to them again, and somebody came up to us and said, we have evidence that this person is a man. Here's a voicemail from the man saying that he's been robbing you. If we were presented with all that, there is no producer on planet Earth who could come up to us and go, but maybe.
50-50.
Did you hear? Listen, arm on the back. Mm-hmm. He said that he loves you. Yeah.
So what do you think? You want to tell your mom about
it? Yeah. Let's go sit down with mom, huh? Hope she didn't fall. All right.
There's a lot of stuff on TV, but not all of it's good. In fact, a lot of it's bad TV.
Hello. Hi. Hello and hi. It's Bad TV, Bad Television, the podcast. It's a show. I'm Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one Patrick Hickey.
Great to be here.
And then you know her well. It is Papaya Dog Girl herself. What's up with Nyack? It's Ruby Wren.
What's up? What's up?
What is up with Nyack, huh?
I was going to ask you. I don't know anything about what you're talking about.
Me neither.
Cool. So, Statue of Liberty and whatnot. Guys, we have an amazing show to get into. But before we get there, go to YouTube. Our YouTube channel was stolen like a thief in the night. We were trying to build a new one back up. We need your support.
All right. What do we got to do? What videos do we need to put up there to get to 2,000 subscribers? Okay.
And it's shocking to know the numbers that this podcast does and that you guys really just don't want to go to the YouTube.
It's a different medium, Dylan. You see people that have 1 million Instagram followers and then they only got 30 people listening to their dumb podcast.
Yeah.
We're the exact opposite.
We're the opposite of Victoria Fuller.
Exactly. The ant.
Right. Yes. Exactly. Mm-hmm. But we would like to be like Victoria Fuller. I would like to have a big social following where I can talk about the courage it took for me to get a tit job. Okay, so help us out with that. Jump in the iTunes ratings and reviews, 5 stars. Go follow Ruby, Papaya Dog Girl on TikTok. Let's get into the episode. Rubes, why don't you start with your passports?
This episode was really bad in every good way possible. And sometimes it's tedious to watch the show because you're like, oh, I only really like 50% of the couples or whatever, or these guys are doing well. Nobody cares. Not this week. Yeah. And I honestly, 99
passports.
Wow. That's really high.
I know.
Yeah. I would venture to agree with Ruby, and if you wouldn't mind, I'll go next.
Please.
My passports are going to be pretty high tonight, and really the only reason they are that high is because Gino said my hands are too watery. Really just that line alone is the reason why I'm giving this episode 92 pots, but lots of really good stuff. Stats is a star.
Big time.
Stats is a star. It was great to see Beavis and Butthead together at last. And also, Christian should be
killed.
Well, no, absolutely not. No, we reserve that for the corporatists. Christian couldn't run a fucking company if it was. I mean, my God, he's the life of the party. He's
life of the party.
But it was fascinating to see Christian with this jovial, unintended transparency about how he's a fucking drunk. Great episode of television.
And a gross, creepy old womanizer for younger women.
I was on a flight and they told me they would have thrown me out of a window if they could do that. Does it bother you that happened? Anyways,
What
93
an
pods.
admission to make, by the way.
I cannot wait to get to that story.
Okay, I don't know what they did to change this season, but this is an amazing season of the 90 Day franchise. Very often, the couples or the storylines are more akin to what they're doing with Tyrae, which is, we get it. This is dead in the water. You're beating a fucking dead, sad, really sad horse. And that's why some 90 Day series suck. That is the only bad part. I think we need to do away with them. I'm also tiring a little bit of Jasmine and Gino.
I am not.
You're not?
No way.
It's a one-trick pony storyline. I don't know why he's there.
Very
and they
equestrian, your putts tonight.
Okay. Christian, I have to agree with you, Dylan. He is basically Stedman to Oprah.
Yeah.
Stedman does not want to have sex with Oprah, but he somehow found a way to live off her money for the last 40 years. But Christian's only trying to squeeze 2 weeks.
Oh, I
out of
disagree.
this.
I think Stedman wants to, and she allows him every so often.
I don't think so at all.
Yeah, she doesn't allow that ever.
Okay. But he wore her down until she was of a certain age where she didn't want to have sex anymore either.
Are they married?
No. So, but Christian is a scumbag, and it's going to be so fun watching him find reasons why he can't bang her.
Oprah just walks into the kitchen in the morning. She's like, "What's up, bitch?" He's like, "I don't want you to call me that anymore." He's like, "Yeah? Go live somewhere else then, bitch."
Overall, amazing episode. Great casting. Exciting season. 100 passports.
Kaylin, how many passports?
I didn't watch it.
Okay, so let's get to Good Morning London. You've got stats en route. Now, I want to quickly rattle off a couple bullet points of her CV. In the short time knowing her, we do know a lot about her. She's that open a book.
Dempsey or stats?
Stats.
Okay.
Okay, she is. I apologize for the pause. I really do apologize for the pause. She is a bug hunter. She is a sex addict. She is a big fan of robots. And she shits her pants when she gets nervous.
Don't forget her love of Matchbox cars.
Loves Matchbox cars. Also, Hungry Man. Loves Hungry Mans. I mean, the dynamism in this one tight little package is unbelievable.
Dylan, I'm so glad you brought that up because at this time...
Sorry, Rubes.
No, Patrick, go ahead.
As I was watching this, Dylan...
Sorry.
I was convinced that Dempsey didn't, in fact, miss her flight.
Yeah.
I think they showed her some footage of old Stats staring at earthworms with her creepy eyes and burning them to death.
Yeah.
And I think Dempsey said, she's a fucking weirdo.
Oh, okay.
And I ain't coming.
Right.
But I was wrong. Turns out they're really into each other.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, adding to the dynamism,
Yeah.
is that it?
Yeah.
Of her, is the fact that she's beautiful. It's so interesting, and I honestly do agree she's a star, and I can't wait to watch whatever the fuck she does on reality TV for however long she's on it.
Right.
Because
Although she'll snap one day and just decide that she doesn't want to do it anymore. But she looks a lot like Lizzie Kaplan. Like I'm getting Lizzie Kaplan vibes.
I'll give you that.
You know?
I'll give you that. Now, I want to say this. So, Dylan, you pointed out she's a love addict / sex addict.
Slash bug hunter / hungry man.
Case in point, in the little vignette where she's kind of preparing in that little hotel room or whatever that fuck was, she says her whole world is riding on this relationship.
Yeah.
That's quite an over exaggeration. How about your entire week or two is riding on this, and then you'll just go back and start obsessing on another person that you want to fuck.
Oh, wow. I'm kind of grossed out. Kind of as sick as Stats was, because you're, I don't know, not taking into account of her lived experience. You're kind of saying that she doesn't have a grasp on what's going on with her, and I think that's totally fucked up. It actually makes me sick, asshole.
speaking of assholes, you better go clean yours, because I agree with Patrick a little bit. She's literally already done this exact thing.
Yeah.
Here.
multiple
And
times.
So it's just like, oh, your whole world. How many worlds does she have? Is she a witch?
I think she's kind of a witch. But speaking of the last time she did this, when she said, I have a hotel room, okay, and I plan on using that hotel room. Given that she is hungry man sex addict, I thought she was going to hit that ex-girlfriend up and say, hey, I need you to tide me over.
Now who's being a jerky pants?
Whoa. These are assumptions, and they are not correct, but at least she didn't say something. Anyway, so really nice room, but England does not have a lot of space. So she says, I think she pulled that out of thin air. Because that's an odd criticism to levy at
an entire country.
Yeah, an entire country,
and it's an island,
and a spacious one at that. You know what I mean?
Is she in London?
Yeah.
I think that's a thing.
Yeah, that actually is a thing.
Is Manchester and London the same thing?
No.
Oh no.
Okay.
So did you lie? She's not in her hotel. Wasn't then she's whatever. It doesn't matter.
No. She's she goes to Manchester.
Yeah.
Right? Oh yeah. Well, Manchester's still. I guess it's like the Brooklyn to London's Manhattan. Anyways, she will be driving out to the countryside. We will get there next.
There's
episode.
a couple other problems here, Dylan. Once she arrives at the hotel, she notes that loo, because that's what they call it over there, the shitter, little too close to the bed.
Yeah,
that's gonna be problematic for when they're queening.
And the whole song and dance she did was very, very cute.
Remind me of that.
She was just like, hello, would you like to have sex? Oh, I can smell your farts. Oh, I can hear you really. She's just a cute little nut job.
Well, I tell Stats, cute little nut job, who I'd say, easy up on the fish and chips there, okay? Here's the rule. You're going to bang a new person for the first time. You don't eat for 19 hours.
Okay, that's not a rule that anybody
You're
else...
going to be naked and eating ass. No eating.
Okay.
Talk to porn stars.
Okay, I don't understand the threshold that you're setting for first trysts with people.
Your body has to be a untouched garden of loveliness.
It's shocking.
You can't eat Taco Bell.
It's shocking that you slept with as many women as you did, given that you, when having like kind of the rule zero conversation, you were like, if we're going to have sex, I need to be assured that you've not consumed any food in the last 19 hours, and I will be eating your ass later. And still, you had sex with lots and lots of women.
Well, I was cleaning up my side of the street, okay?
Right,
hygiene is paramount when you're a fucking
and Ruby,
sex pig.
Papaya Dog Girl, you do think that Pat sounds like an insane person right now, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let's get to Gino and Chaz. They go to see one of the greatest feats of engineering on planet Earth. What's up?
This honestly broke my heart.
Yeah.
Because I this whole scene, for some reason, I don't know why, Gino being so excited about something really made me sad.
Yep.
It made me really sad. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's kind of like Tyrae playing ukulele in the park.
Yeah, well,
it's kind of similar to that.
But for Gino, I mean, this is his trade, the marvel of the engineering that took place to make this Panama Canal thing happen. Him and he works at Valvoline doing oil changes.
Sure. Yeah.
I can understand.
Engineer.
I'm an engineer. I am. I work at Target.
And I don't mean to compare Jasmine to a dog in any way. The only way that I mean it is in the best possible way, in that like she sees him excited about anything and she's like, oh, Gino, you love, and you're like, Jasmine, you don't fucking care about this fucking ship coming through,
I gotta say this though, Rubes.
They let the water out there for the big ones.
Rubes, you're so right. She sees that hole and she just runs for it. She's like, she basically says, she compares the Panama Canal or America and Panama are best buddies, like she turns it into like a sex analogy. She says they work together to get boats of all sizes through that continent, and then America would ask its partner Panama to finger its asshole, and Panama liked getting its balls chewed on. Anyway, the sexual history of the two countries is lost on Gino
and Teddy Roosevelt or whoever it was.
It was Teddy.
It was a Teddy. He was like, Hope you haven't eaten in 19 hours. I'm going to be fucking tongue deep in your asshole, Panama. Fucking lunatic.
And they
Pat.
dug,
God damn it.
and they dug double time, dude.
All right, so they get there, and like we mentioned, Gino is tongue on the ground, excited. In a kind of, I'm not going to keep furthering. So Gino has been acting weird. He's doing that ticky kind of drama face frown thing that he does, where he gets really snappy, sad energy. And I was actually really, really proud of Gino because he stood up for himself for once in the midst of this crowd of people. She was pressing him on something, and I can't remember. I think he brought up his. Did he bring up his ex? That's later.
So, but this is where we learned Gino was in
it's
fact
right here, yeah.
married for 7 years. I had no
Yes.
clue of that, which was always problematic for me understanding Gino. I thought he'd never been married and he was at the age of 53 and took up a little obsession with women from South America
and canals. But no. He brings up his ex, and she's like, "I don't want you to do that," and he's like, "Oh, well, yeah, you're gonna have to play by my rules if I have to play by your rules." And then he walks away in a really heroic fashion, in that he takes 3 steps to the right, and she is just looking at him very, very awkwardly. And then she says, "This is how to pay me back to showing you the Panama Canal." And
is this when his fingers are so sweaty that it prohibits him from opening that package of peanuts?
we leave the Panama Canal, and we go to just a little park. And what happened was Gino was hydrating because he was thirsty, and there was condensation on the outside of the bottle. So when he was trying to open up the rice cracker or whatever autistic child treat he was eating, he couldn't get it open because his hands were so watery.
So sweaty.
Yeah.
And then Gino confronts Jasmine about her ex, Dane, and he wants to know if she's still fucking him or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then she begins to laugh.
Yeah.
And but her laughter is justified. And then she admits he's no longer my lover. He's now a broker of a murder for hire plot that involves having your brain melted by swapping out that glue you use to keep that hat on your head with cyanide. And then it melts his head.
Wow. Okay.
That's a weird death.
Yeah, that is a weird death, huh?
Having
Rubes?
your head melt from the top down.
Yeah.
Well, that's how they're going to kill him. That's what Dane's up to.
That is a weird death, huh, Rubes?
I honestly could see Dane being a serial killer. That would make the most sense of it all.
Me too. You know? Absolutely.
So.
He's just like, I can see him wearing people.
First off,
like talk about a person that would snap that you would be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, that would be scary to be alone. And I was going to say earlier, speaking of people snapping, like Jasmine at the Panama Canal, I think that Gino, I think he had a little manja in him because he felt safe with all the other tourists.
Right.
And what was she going to do?
I love that take because Uncle Junior or whatever his name was, was like, you know, don't let that bitch boss you around, you know, and so I think that he was channeling him. But yeah, Dane, I can see him like at night, he's got a snifter of cognac, right? Because that's what he drinks when he wears people. And then some unassuming victim is like, are you wearing someone's skin on your face? And he just throws the sniffer, it's crystal, against the glass. And he's like, don't ask me that. And then he kills them.
all right, if he's not a serial killer, he's definitely a weirdo because why is he friends with Jasmine?
Yep, he's either a serial killer or a cuck. Let's get to Misha and
Nicola!
I hate Nicola more than anyone on the show.
Even Christian?
Yeah. No, it's a tie ball game. We're going into extra innings with those two. Nicola is one of these people who, and I don't like when anyone's beliefs infringe on anyone else.
I'll stay here for 5 minutes. We'll be here for 5 minutes. So have your fun. Enjoy 5 minutes. Then we're leaving.
I especially don't like it when boring, dork, pious, loser beliefs infringe on other people. And I especially don't like it when people are fervent and intolerant about those dorkish loser beliefs. And it's just this thing where it's like, Misha, smoking cigarettes is a sin as you drink a beer. It's like, how are you convinced of the worldview you have, you fucking moron? You're a 50-year-old virgin. You have no job.
Well, the problem... Go ahead, Rubes.
He has a very important job.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Block, Dylan. So continue, Patrick.
Well, Misha...
Fuck, I fucked that up. He does have a job.
Well, actually, Nicola... pushes off uncomfortable conversations with hacky, occasionally very misogynist humor, and that's how he does it. And that's why I personally hate the guy.
Yeah.
But in this episode, he lowered himself even deeper with what I would consider just being a controlling dick.
Yeah.
Everything has like a child. Everything has a time limit. We can eat in this trendy part of the city for 30 minutes. That's it.
Right.
We can go into a bar for 5 minutes. That's it.
Yeah. Well, they go to Haifa, Mount Carmel or something. It's where Elijah fought against the false prophets. And Misha, I was very confused about this moment because I don't know if this is an insight into Misha's mental disorders because, and everyone on the show has at least something. She sees a wedding and needs to change into a dress. She's not a part of the wedding. I think the wedding is just happening.
I think that she sees and she interprets and thinks to herself, I don't feel comfortable in what I'm wearing. This is not fancy enough. And I would rather be over than underdressed at this place where Moses fought Elijah fought Yahweh and Moses together. They teamed up, and then David and Goliath were there, and they were like, oh my God, Misha, wait 5 minutes and then we are leaving.
Yeah.
It's fucking sick. Watching her change in the car though, while he was like trying to like
block the window. We cannot allow other men to see your vagina. All right. I did appreciate that it only took her 80 seconds to like very Superman-like.
Oh, yeah. She was like a Charlie's Angel.
She became a news anchor.
Yeah.
Okay. And she wasn't stepping out of that car to give like the 5-day forecast.
Right. Yeah.
She was there because she felt awkward among other pretty girls that were dressed up.
Well, they go and they see the holy sites and they sit down and Nico offers her... Oh, no. She offers him a bit of an ultimatum. Now, they talk about how the mother is going to come down to see her, or that the mother has beckoned them to whatever portion of the Holy Land she lives in. Sounds like a bit of a bummer. But Misha then says, here's the deal, Smeagol. Mm-hmm. We have 2 weeks, and if I leave not comfortable getting engaged to you, I will have got the Instagram following. I can go back into newscasting. She was fired, I think, for being a drunk. I think that's why she found God. She was in AA. She just wants to get her job back. That's it.
I love that theory.
It. Yeah.
Well, it definitely, she does give him the the ultimatum. Hey, I want to meet your mother. And I also want you to let me wear fuck me heels, and then you can go drink pink lemonade with Jesus, and that's how this will all work.
Yeah. Hi, Jesus. It's a little sweet today, isn't it, Nico?
But
he's like,
I
can you
love
do anything about that? And he's like, listen, I'm done with the parlor tricks. Okay, I've proved myself.
Now, Dylan, could she be this diabolical to play this little game for 6 years to get her job back in that Instagram following?
Sometimes you go at a glacial pace because the universe is telling you to do that, or Jesus. I'm not sure. Whatever.
It's Jesus.
Okay. So, this is Netflix. Listen up. This is how you do an ultimatum. You put an ex-newscaster in Israel with a guy who's a virgin with sunken eyes and misogyny, and then you figure out if they can do. I mean, that's what you know. You don't have to stop password sharing. You just have to do this.
Yeah.
All right. So if you think all that stuff was sad,
really,
we didn't talk about how sad it was, which is why this segue is not that good. But if you thought what we just talked about was sad, let's get to the king of sadness. It's not any of the existentialists. It's not Nietzsche. It's not Fred Durst. It's Tyrae. Mm-hmm. Finally, we get to meet a
PI.
A PI, somebody that can really get to the bottom of this stuff. Because up until this point, we've just had a bunch of unreliable horseshit, right? We've had a voicemail from the person who's doing it saying, I am a man and I have robbed him and I do love him. But we haven't had any concrete evidence. We've had his sister saying, I have the sources of these images. But we haven't had anything really that you could sink your teeth into.
And you did mention that the guy actually left a voicemail saying, hi, I've taken him.
I did mention that
right.
as one of the many pieces of trash on this trash heap of evidence.
No, but it's not really evidence.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
no.
what it points mostly to is that Carmela's husband or boyfriend found out about their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If the evidence is anything, that if it says anything, it says that.
If the evidence says anything, it says that Carmela needs Tyrae now more than ever. Mm-hmm. And were he to just give up on her?
Oh boy, were he to
Stop it!
You literally said it first, Dylan.
No, I didn't. Not like that. Let's meet Louis the PI, okay?
I love Louis.
He dresses like a North Korean dictator, and he is a damn good PI.
Because, Dylan, what he finds,
Yeah.
some raunchy stuff.
Oh, yeah. My God, Kim Girl High.
But dare I say, absolutely every single piece of information
Is bullshit.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Or he's just a good PI, man.
Yeah. Sorry. I can't keep track of my improv here.
Right.
Not likely, though. It's probably bullshit.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys sound like crazy people.
Well,
right now.
Lewis sounds crazy because he says, we've got phone numbers attached to drop phones. The kind that you buy at 7-Eleven, use once to call a hit on somebody and then throw them in a trash can. Those kinds of phones. We've got PayPal accounts attached to email accounts that are all dead. And we've got a photo reversal to a cam girl. Now, none of this falls in line with the Carmela that Tyrae knows. Right. And that's the beautiful thing about Tyrae. When you are certain of a truth, there is nothing on planet Earth, be it concrete evidence or mushy evidence, that can shake your faith. You can tell me till the cows come home that the dinosaurs were around however many hundreds of millions of years ago, but you can't trick me out of knowing that that's not true. Mm-hmm. We rode them. That's how we got so smart. Mm-hmm. We rode them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but later on in the episode, he will tell his feeble, physically impaired mother that he may have to fly back to the place of origin of Carmela.
Oh, yeah.
In a Jason Bourne type of mission to track down the person that killed his entire family and murdered his dog.
Sounds like
kidding. Christian.
Sorry. I wanted to get this in, and then I lost. No. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was not a supportive partner there.
Okay.
I was just thinking about how great it would be if Sound of Freedom 2 starred Tyrae and not Jim Caviezel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So here is the plot of Sound of Freedom 2, which will blow the ceiling off of this current box office.
I'm going to
number.
grab a claw. You tell.
Okay. So Tyrae goes down to meet Carmela. Mm-hmm. Now, what he discovers is that Carmela is not a prostitute who he's fallen in love with, but rather either a child or the kingpin of a child sex trafficking ring. Now, Tyrae, despite his poor cardiovascular health, does take down a syndicate of sorts with little to no help. It's a John Wick type of thing, but with a diversity hire and a disability hire, because when you're that big, you're essentially handicapped.
Well, I think what he did,
also because his mom flies the helicopter.
Oh, there we go.
Gets him out.
There we go.
Oh, nice.
And this is what the pitch meetings look like.
Well, I was going to do something more practical.
Yeah.
Tyrae actually kind of fell into the place where the sex traffic factory.
Yeah.
And he had a fucking heart attack right there, but his phone was on.
Right.
And that got all the police there.
Yeah.
And somehow he is the hero of the day, despite dying of a cardiovascular
attack.
Yeah. Because he's so large.
Right.
Maybe that can be Sound of Freedom 3.
Yeah, that's a good point, Patrick. That's a dumb idea, Patrick.
You're right.
All right, let's move on. God, if he gets above like 120 heartbeat, like, I mean, he's just fucking.
He's a goner.
No, so it's a surprise party thing for the old people.
Right.
Don't do that to him.
Yeah. So, don't surprise him with anything.
I wonder.
It's too dangerous.
You know how anything you can think of in your life, it's probably happened. Like you're so excited to throw your grandmother her 80th birthday party, and she walks in after eating at Caro's, you know?
Yeah.
And then she walks in, of course, the door opens, surprise! And then she drops fucking dead right there.
She drops dead, and then she shits out the mashed potatoes that she just ate.
That's what happens when you die, dude. You immediately just, everything flows out, and then it was like, ooh, that birthday's a bummer.
Oh my God, is that shrimp?
And then you're like, Grandma, you fucking bitch. We told you not to eat today.
All right, so we get to Vietnam and the War Remembrance Museum with Riley and Violet. Great place for photo ops.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. I agree. This is a place where their relationship can truly unite. A place where Riley's brotherhood of being in the military used war machines to mow down at least 18 of her cousins.
Yeah. I thought that's a great point because I was thinking the same thing about Riley showing people the photos when he returned home, and he was like, "Oh, that helicopter was actually used to kind of kick off the whole Mile High thing." You know, when untold.
We know. It's okay. We know.
Well, anyway, she's pretty smart for a con artist because she involves her daughter here, who's 18, and her mother to make Riley feel guilty. That's the mark of a good con artist, is you kind of play into their insecurities. And, you know, I'm not going to do that.
Thank God for Daniel Ellsberg, right?
Who's that?
Pentagon Papers.
Thank God. You know, because...
But equally, I don't know if this is where you were going, Dylan.
Yeah.
Thank God for Riley.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And explain that.
Well, because without both of them, we wouldn't be even half the nation that we wouldn't be these United States.
Thank you. A more perfect union. And how could we get there without Riley?
Well, Dylan, I'm shocked. You hate Christian. You also hate Nicola. Is that who you hate also?
I despise Nicola, yeah.
How can you not despise Riley in that
At
phone
the
call?
end of the episode, I came to see... I can kind of start to see what you guys are talking about because he was viciously psychotic at the end of this episode.
Can I just really quickly just do a really quick side note? There's a guy who like 14 years ago these girls went missing, and literally last week they just found out that he is responsible for these murders and shit. And there's like 4 of them.
What's it called? The
Gilgo Beach murders. But he's been living in Manhattan or going to work in Manhattan for the last 15 years as a fucking architect. And he's been like Googling, like, why hasn't Long Island serial killer been caught? Shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Riley, we have to keep an eye on him because I think he could do things like that.
That's what the FBI did. And by the way, more is going to come out on that. You know, I'm obsessed with murders, Rubes. One thing that he did extremely diabolical is he'd get the passwords of the phones of the prostitutes he killed. And for the last 5 years, he's been torturing relatives by actually calling them saying, I know where your daughter is and I killed her. Mm-hmm. And isn't that insane?
Yeah. I mean, listen, people have hobbies. Mm-hmm. Life is boring without them. Mm-hmm. So, Violet is not doing well because sometimes she says he's great, and sometimes he
is fat
and makes her want to throw up, and he's not really understanding. The fat, rude piece of shit is really not understanding the cultural customs of Vietnam. Mm-hmm. The big faux pas was not bringing the angry matriarch a gift. Do we put any blame on Violet for leading him into that? It's like kind of like in The Edge when all that kind of straw is laying over the big hole in the ground with a bunch of sawed off pieces of wood that come out. Yeah. It's meant to take down a bear, but in that case, I think it took down
Anthony Hopkins.
No, Billy Baldwin or one of the Baldwins. That's what he walked into, is what I'm saying.
Well, this is the manipulative part about it, Dylan, is she brings in her 18-year-old daughter and her mother, and then, of course, the custom of bringing gifts and presenting them, and he's a fucking asshole for not doing that.
Yeah.
Meant to, I think, take the scent off her and those topless photos she'd gotten from that gentleman a few days earlier.
Yeah.
Just keep the heat on him, and it will keep the heat off her.
And you kind of buried the lead. They were topless. They were also bottomless.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was the guy was in stirrups. But yeah, there is a sweet little kind of end to this because Riley is so cute and Violet's so cute in that they figure out that it's just them not speaking each other's culture.
Right.
But they'll get there. You know, Riley's like, it's okay if you want to call me fat and revolting and ugly, you know, in front of company, you know, because that's hilarious. But don't do it in front of strangers. That's what we do in America. We call each other fat and ugly in front of family. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then he brings up being black in Vietnam and how that's offensive as well. And that gets her to shut up, I think.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Smart move, Riley.
Yeah, very smart move. And also, I would venture anyone who knows anything about Vietnamese culture, please do let us know if it is indeed culturally sound to call people fat and ugly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Violet's family is not quite anomalous, but I just think they're assholes.
Maybe.
You know? Mm-hmm. So we move on to stats. She is not doing good. She's shitting her Christmas jammies. And there's really not too much to glean here other than the expediency of the British healthcare system.
Oh, yes.
You walk into an urgent care, 30 minutes later, you're out with medicine. You walk into an urgent care here, you'll go in with a certain issue that your doctor couldn't see you for another 2.5 months for. You will arrive there, they'll tell you that you have a 9-hour wait. The only way you will be fast tracked, but it will be because you have sustained a new, more severe wound from one of the people sitting in the lobby. Now, that person will be zonked out on something and they will stab you in some kind of vital organ that will rush you in and you can evaluate everything. But it's better in Britain, I think.
Well, yeah, it was really quick. She walked in that goddamn hospital. The doctor said, did you eat fish and chips? And she says, yeah. He says, well, you're shitting yourself. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Go drink some Pepto-Bismol. Get out of here.
No, she has a parasite, Patrick.
Oh.
Why are you grinding cheese with fucking fish and chips? What's wrong with you?
Oh, they're greasy.
Sounds really good right now, actually.
You eat Paquito Mas all the time.
Not greasy. It's healthy Mexican.
Paquito Mas is very greasy.
Not at all.
No, it's not. It's fresh.
Thank you. You know, before you joined us, Ruby, a part of the network, this guy used to be able to say insane things like that, and I'd let him get away with it.
Patrick, I'm happy I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Paquito Mas is disgusting food.
Dylan, stop committing injustices on air, all right?
You know who else hates Paquito Mas? Producer Kaylin.
Really?
Despises Paquito Mas.
Yeah, Paquito Mas is disgusting.
But not because it's greasy.
You live in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
you go to
yeah.
Paquito Mas.
I would rather go
ridiculous.
to Taco Bell than Paquito Mas. Give me a volcano taco over anything that Paquito Mas serves. Yeah, okay.
It's not right.
All right, fine. If you guys want to eat packaging peanut tacos, you go ahead. I'm going to eat cat meat, and it'll go down easier.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Ready to check in with
Caitlin, can you just hang up the Zoom, please? Can you get rid of her, please?
You stop it. Let's go over to Cleo and Christian because this is the couple that I'm fascinated with the most. I'm very fascinated with this couple.
Okay. So, do you have anything to say before we jump into things? Okay. So, Cleo, we begin in the morning, and Cleo she's been stripped of the cuddles that she so requires. Now, I don't blame her. I think cuddles are great. I do not think she should be the big spoon right now. I think it's a little bit too much. But not only is he a little awkward because of that, he's awkward because he sees that she is putting
hormone cream,
estrogen on her skin. Now, after he witnesses her do that, he treats her in a leper-like way, the way that a bigot would be afraid to touch a minority lest they get some kind of, I don't know, color or something like that. It is really, really disgusting the way that he looks at her after she has put this ointment on.
Now, if you don't mind, Dylan, I want to go after Cleo a little bit before we call out Christian for being a complete asshole.
Yeah.
Christian says about snuggling that she is quote unquote affectionate friendly. And these, look, here's my issue with it. Just say, I love affection. Why does everything have to be like a safeguard word to be comfortable for you?
It's like a dumb Myers-Briggs test.
It's Orwellian in that we create these words to kind of, I don't know, when it could just be simpler. You're like, I'm food affectionate. Oh, you like, you want to eat a cheeseburger. Yeah, food affectionate.
Right,
I just think it's stupid.
Yeah.
And that would drive me nuts.
Yeah.
But onto the gel. I'd totally be fine with this.
Yeah. Right.
He, in this moment, he reminded me of like boys when girls are on their period. And are just like, like you're like, oh my God, you should go into traffic really fast and then come back and tell me how it went.
Yeah, right. See, if you go read this pamphlet on this ointment in traffic, and then we'll talk.
And you want to know why I'm telling you to do that? Because I'm such a hormonal bitch.
Here's a lot of rage for guys, by the way, Ruby. I love that example. 13-year-old boy. Oh, you're on your period. 22-year-old guy. You're on your period? I'll still go down on you.
Gary.
Oh, Patrick.
Guys have a lot of range with age.
I wouldn't call that range. If you pulled out and you took a look at that spectrum, you'd be like, oh, that's still, those two outcomes do occupy a very narrow slice of the spectrum. All right. So this guy, Christian, he's the life of the party. Okay. He's a go with the flow kind of guy.
Which is why he doesn't have an itinerary.
Right.
He just wants to. And by the way,
and it's also why he's a jobless loser drunk.
Who's also balding and definitely a drunk.
Okay.
If you knew Cleo and you guys have been communicating, and by the way, a lot of these couples, when they talk and they're asking questions, I'm like, what the fuck did you talk about for 6 months? Obviously, you clearly don't know how the other person operates.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He should know that Cleo would be freaked the fuck out by just playing it by ear.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say, because I agree with that, but I also think if I'm visiting you in your country for the first time, is it not on you to be like, this is what we're doing today? And then on top of that, if you have the autism superpower, so you really get anxious if that's not the case, why would you expect life of the party to be like, all right, so boom, made a reservation here, let's go here.
Great
He's
point.
life of the party.
He's life of the party. He's like he's kind of like a pigeon in that they really don't care about other people's you know what I mean? They're drunks and they shit everywhere and they love James Bond. He's like a pigeon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They have no respect for culture. And
No.
Yeah, and life of the party, by the way, speaking of James Bond movies, this guy's so fucking lame and balding and such a drunk. I bet his favorite James Bond is Timothy Dalton. Those were the worst James Bond movies.
I don't think he knows who Timothy Dalton is. Although, you know what? I bet he is. I bet he does know. And he's the kind of guy like you get cornered in a corner with him at a party and he's like he starts talking about Timothy Dalton. You're like, I don't know who the fuck that is, dude. And like you shouldn't either. Like, get the fuck away from me. All right, so we have a few drinks, and this is when Christian starts to get a little confident, okay? We walk through the city, we see the eye, we see Buckingham, and we know that is where children are sacrificed. But he doesn't give a fuck about any of that shit. And the reason why he doesn't give a fuck about any of that shit is because the day is bad to him. The day is just the part of the cycle that you have to wade through before you can drink, because he's a fucking drunk.
Big time.
When he sits down and he gets a little nip of whiskey in him, he starts to turn into the Christian we all know and love. He's James Bond, life of the party.
Reminds me of one of my mom's boyfriends. Guy is a total dick, and then somehow became life of the party sometime around 8 o'clock at night.
He was a fucking drunk.
Yeah.
Now, Christian says to Cleo, if we're going to be together, I'm going to need to see what you're like with a little buzz, because I'm an addict, so I'm going to need you to kind of partake in that addiction with me. He's a lost guy.
He's lost, and by the way, just from the physicality standpoint, Rubes, did you catch this? He's putting his hand on her back and rubbing her back a little bit. He is doing the minimum of trying to pretend that he's into this.
But are we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we also not giving him any credit because maybe he thought it could work and now he's just a little weirded out by it?
No.
Okay, so let's get to Misha and Nicola, who, again, he's a fucking dork. He's a fucking Scrooge McFucking 50-year-old virgin who has these arbitrary laws of sin and grace, and it just annoys the fuck out of me.
Well, I love that you mentioned the age thing because I hadn't thought about that, and I hung out with a lot of old people this past weekend, and they are angry and irritated at everything. Life irritates them, and he might be hitting that stage at the ripe old age of mid-50s because he takes Misha to a place that he considers to be hell. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it looked like hell at all. It was a bunch of good-looking people getting loaded. It seemed like a fucking life.
It wasn't
fun for
even.
me.
It's not like we're in Ibiza. Okay, we're in a promenade where people are drinking and eating food, and he's like, Misha, let's get out of Sodom and Gomorrah before God strikes this place into the fucking ocean. It's like, what? Do you only live in mom's house and when you're fishing outside, you go outside to the water where you're fishing?
I love how you say that because his version of being Catholic is the one that involves the world having no fun in it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be a different Catholic.
I was going to say also, Patrick, all the old people that you were with, and I think he's like, 48 or something this weekend or this past week, they've had sex before.
Yeah.
Point.
Really, really good point.
And he has never, and he only just has a blog.
He does have a blog. That is his job. He has a blog, but does it not irk you? I mean, I'm a smoker, so once and always. So
Smoke a little bit more than New Year's Eve.
Yeah, no, of course.
Well, that was her admission, but she, I think, was lying. It's kind of one of those things where when you admit to having one cigarette every New Year's Eve, it pretty much means you actually just smoke on the weekend.
Right. Yeah. Well, still, where do you get off saying that smoking cigarettes is a sin?
I saw him drink that
and
beer.
Again, if you know the answer in the comments to the Vietnamese culture, you're fat, ugly, being cultural, or to Roman Catholics, devout Roman Catholics, being allowed to sin and drink but not smoke cigarettes on New Year's Eve, please give us that John 14:69 Ishmael, that phrase.
Misha tells Nicola, she's a devout Catholic, okay?
Yeah.
But she just loves the dance, all right?
Yeah.
And he says dancing is a sin.
Yeah.
So then they kind of meet in the middle, and he says, okay, dancing's a sin. You want to dance. All right, I'll agree to sin for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's what's so absurd about this.
Uh-huh.
These time limits. Mm-hmm. And this idea that you're able to sin for just a little while. I don't like Nicola.
And what is Nicola's version of sin or opposite, Because sin is rooted in the material realm, like love is a cosmic energy and lust is, snakes can fuck each other. You know what I mean?
Right.
If dancing is a sin, what is the graceful counterpart to it? Is it like a rhythm, but you're not allowed to move to it? Like, Nico, you're a dork. You're a total dork.
I'm telling you, Dylan, this is how we solve all this. Steal his laptop, do his searches, and when you see guys love getting their balls stepped on by prostitutes, and that he's watched every video, then you hand it back to him and you say, shut up.
Yeah.
Because he is a sick person, and I guarantee a hypocrite.
He's a sick puppy.
He's a sick puppy.
And then you guys will get to stay at the bar for 12 minutes because you know that he watches pornographic videos where his balls get stomped on.
Okay, so the daughters get brought up. She's like, hey, you're kind of weird and you're 50 and you haven't had sex. Are you going to judge my daughters when I let them go to college and I don't install security cameras in their dorms.
Misha.
Misha, what do you think? They are sluts, Misha. They are pregnant already, Misha. Misha.
They're
Misha,
burning an eternal house, right?
Oh my God.
Misha. I don't want to fight. So this is his solution. Let's get married and then we can talk about your daughters being whores. Okay? And she's like, all right, Nico, fine. They go dancing and he has
I can't wait for her OnlyFans. I really can't.
Stop it.
Same.
Oh, well, speaking of the dance being a sin, she goes, Nico, is dancing a sin? And he says, it is a very complicated question.
Is arousal a sin?
Yeah, I think so.
Then maybe that's what he means. Like
Possibly.
You can waltz,
Right.
but not
right.
grind.
Cotillion is not a sin. No. Twerking is a sin. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get Mom's pills ready with Tyrae.
And Supriya.
And Supriya, she heads over to get a little recon, a little breakdown on what's been going on, all the lies he's been being told about the love of his life. They crack another red cider.
Hold on.
Stop drinking those. They have so much sugar in them.
This sad sack, rundown, just sad sack of sadness.
Don't call him a sack.
Okay. This conversation, dare I say, continuing filming with this man, other than us having some kind of what do you call it, where you like watching people in pain? There's a word for that. I forget.
Masochist?
Nah, that word where you're sitting by, like you see someone get run over by a car, you're like, oh, that's really bad. But at least it didn't happen to me. Schadenfreude. Okay, this weirdo does not need to have his mother, who's very ill, and his sister, Supriya, to come over because he's done telling lies.
Yeah.
Dare I say he could just fold the tent up and say, I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
But somehow some disgusting producer convinced him to continue on this journey.
Yeah.
Which may lead him to head back to Barbados to track down Carmela.
And that could be a softening of his unique breed of insanity. But if we take a look at the worm tongue conversations between the producer and Tyrae, it's nothing that any of us would fall for, right? No. Because if we were, let's say, in love with somebody who we'd flown to Barbados to see, and then they stood us up, and then we came back, and then a month later we started talking to them again, and somebody came up to us and said, we have evidence that this person is a man. Here's a voicemail from the man saying that he's been robbing you. If we were presented with all that, there is no producer on planet Earth who could come up to us and go, but maybe.
50-50.
Did you hear? Listen, arm on the back. Mm-hmm. He said that he loved you. Yeah.
So what do you think? You want to tell your mom about
it? Yeah. Let's go sit down with Mom, huh? Hope she didn't fall. All right. So, there's no one there.
Yeah, there's not going to be anybody there if he keeps fucking going to Barbados to be with Carmela.
And to be fair, she sits a lot, so it's not likely that she fell. All right, so Tyrae sits down with Mom and his sister, and the air is that he doesn't have a good thing to say, so naturally they assume it has to do with his health. And he's kind of offended a little bit. He's like, no, it has nothing to do. Why would you say that?
So you pull us here to just tell us you've lost your mind? Yeah. And you think you're in love with a guy who's been ripping you off? How much money you give him? Oh, just $300. Oh, we thought you were going to die of diabetes.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. This is a great day. Thank you, God. Thanks, God.
Why did you think I was going to die of diabetes, Mom?
No reason.
Well, I'm not.
He just goes and
improv over. All right.
He cracks another Reds. All right. So, okay. This is my favorite line from Sad Sad. He says, that she told him that she loved him, and that is the last kernel that he's hanging on to. It's like in the beginning of Cliffhanger, that woman. Mm-hmm. That's like him right now.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Before Sylvester Stallone can't get to her.
Yeah. And Sly's like, yeah. And she's like, extend your arm. And he's like, no. So anyways, he says that she loves him. And then he says that if everything was fake, at least the love was real. Mm-hmm. And I am just curious and confused about Tyrae's definition of everything. Because everything is a very, very big umbrella that could perhaps have that love right cozied up underneath it, but not to Tyrae.
Okay, big misstep by production. You get Christian on the phone, and Christian says, I do love you. And then
is this like an Inception type thing where the person Carmela is Cleo's Christian?
Well, Christian is Christian. It's a guy who's been ripping him off, but he still loved him.
Right.
So he said in the text. And then, because you pay Christian like $150 to just take the phone call, he'll probably take because he lives in Barbados with chickens in his backyard.
Yeah.
And he says, I've always loved you, Tyrae. And then the producer says, so Tyrae, what do you want to do with this? I mean, it's not a hot prostitute. It's a guy, you know?
Yeah.
Do you want to go see him?
Yeah. Let's go talk to mom. Okay. All right, Rubes, anything before we move on?
Absolutely not.
Okay, let's meet Dempsey. This is awkward. And
cute.
And very cute. I kept having this thing in my head. I want Dempsey to run because she is going to get chewed up and spit out by Stats. Stats is a Bishop Don Juan type. I don't think that Dempsey stands a chance.
Stats reminds me of a theater kid sometimes. And I get it. I think their whole like, yeah, you're just standing awkwardly on the street and
right.
Yeah, fine. Also though, shut the fuck up and stop it. You know?
Yeah.
You're blocking the sidewalk.
She has like Ezra Miller theater energy kid kind of energy.
Yep. And I wouldn't like to be anywhere near Ezra Miller.
Right.
So
yeah.
The meeting is awkward, but I have to say I was kind of shocked.
Hey, and bravo to Warner Brothers for just going, hey, we've got a movie.
It costs $200 million.
Who cares that he went on the run with a Native American minor and assaulted numerous women in public on camera? We've got a movie.
Same to you guys, like them with the awkward moment. Shut the fuck up and stop it. You know what I mean? Let's go. We have a movie.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
well, I just want to say, so these two weirdos really vibe on each other, right? And
this is the Beavis and Butthead moment. She's like, can I look at your butt?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And then it's a real short kind of little thing. By the way, I have to say this. Sorry for the digression, but I'm pissed I haven't seen fucking Amanda, and I can't even remember the guy's name. They've been off the show for so long.
Roz Puppy.
I need them back in my lives.
Well, they will be back next weekend. Before we get to them, we have to get to the physical representation of Christian's mind.
I saw that. Yeah. The only thing missing there was a doll with a clown smashing the cymbals, you know, as a manifestation of his brain.
Oh yeah, like one of those monkeys.
Yeah, because like that's what's going on in his head.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot going on
because he's a moron.
Well, this place is not an autism-friendly environment, and another exhibit into his rudeness is that he takes her to this place. Now, they order a few Prince Charles
face cocktails,
and they take them to the face. Christian, in a real like booze hound kind of moment, says, let's just take a second and let's just drink these. And he's like watching her and he's sucking down the cocktail. And he's like, let's get this shit in us and listen, it could be him trying to get to a place where he can take his walls down. But what's likelier is that he has a narcissistic personality disorder and he's a drunk. So the insanity proceeds when he tells Cleo the story of what happened on the plane.
I love how he prefaces it, as you said, quote unquote. Oh, I gotta tell you this crazy story.
He has a crazy story to tell Cleo, the woman that he is trying to court. Now, the story goes like this. He was having a good time on the plane.
Drunk.
Ruby, he was having a good time on the plane, all right? He had had a couple pops. And what with the altitude and the 8 ounces of gin he had drank, he began to start walking up and down the aisles like a friendly zombie. He was just...
Everyone else was sleeping, by the way, so he's looking for some people to hang out with.
Yeah, he just wanted to talk. And so he finds a couple of almost preteen girls. They're 20, 21, and he saddles up to them. And he begins talking their ear off. And that is when a flight attendant comes and says, "Sir, this is not a Baskin-Robbins, and this is not an environment for your predatory alcoholism. You need to go back to your seat." Mm-hmm. Now, he tells that story with...
Also, he got shut off.
Yeah, he got shut off. With this kind of, can you believe what I went through kind of tone? You know what I mean?
I also thought it was a little bit of like, hey, wasn't that crazy?
Yeah. But
Wow.
this is, and I'm sorry it took so long to say that, but this is
Life of
the
the
way
party.
this is the way a narcissist would tell an embarrassing story like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
He's the type of person that would do that to a woman traveling by herself. And then when that person, like, God forbid, got up to go pee and the flight attendant was like, "Do you want me to get him the fuck away from you?" Because you could never be like, "Hey, could you not speak to me right now? Because then you're a cunt because you can't do that."
Sure.
Then he would tell the story and be like, and then the fucking flight attendant came over and was like screaming at me and was like, I was like, of course. Like, I don't know what I said. Like, I'll go back to my seat. Like, isn't that nuts?
No, but we...
You're like, Christian, you had your dick out.
Oh, by the way, I think he tells us he's just a magnetic person, you know?
Yeah.
He attracts people to himself. Yeah. And to prove this, he begins flirting with the girls at the next table.
Yes. Now he's...
My wife had a term for this behavior. She said he's trying to get... Oh my God, I hadn't really thought about that until I thought about what my horrible, horrible wife said. She's trying to get Cleo to be disgusted by him. Ooh.
Oh.
Jesus, Sharizi.
Yeah.
We might have to cut that.
Yeah.
Things that come out of my wife's head.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Kaylin, can you mark that? Okay, thank you very much. So
Jesus, Sharizi.
yeah, no, he's talking to he's up the age a little bit, mid-20s, but he's chatting him up. If this person tried to communicate with me in a public place, I would get to a point where I would have to be so rude. And that's why I resent these kinds of people, because I'm not that kind of person, but I can get into that gear and you're going to make me hate you for making.
What are you guys doing over there? Whose birthday is? Whose fucking birthday? Carrie?
Yeah.
Hey, Carrie.
Yeah.
How old are you? Nice. Nice. What's your name? Not you, her, the pretty one.
Right.
Yeah, Stacy.
Yeah.
Nice.
We don't want to do this anymore. You're a fucking monster bitch.
I think, here's what I think. I think having a guy with a boom mic and 2 cameras in this bar help him out tremendously.
Sure. Yeah. Life of the party. It helped in that poorly lit backyard too. He walked in there. He was like, whoever wants to go. But everybody's coupled up because it's like rural or Ohio or something. Anyways, they end the night. He goes, I'm just going to finish this up real quick. And he starts sucking down the last portion of the... I mean, the guy is such a fucking...
Buy a bottle of wine on the way home. Now, I will say this. So I think this entire behavior, and my wife might have tipped this off to me, she's trying to get Cleo to not be mad at him so that he can avoid having sex with her tonight.
All right, so Gino and Jasmine. It's time to tell Gino the truth, Jasmine. It is time to tell him the truth. And when she does tell him the truth, that she is living in the same building with an ex and Gino is paying for the apartment, Gino's response is this: "You got to be freaking kidding me."
Now, yeah, he's blown away. But it's quite an admission, Dylan, because Jasmine tells Gino the whole story.
Yeah.
You know, kind of coming
Soup
clean.
to nuts.
This is regarding Dane. She says, Does she still talk to him? Yes. Does she still see him in person? Yes.
Yeah.
Does he live in a building? Yes. Have they had a friends with benefits situation? Yes. Is she still having sexual thoughts about him because Gino doesn't put out? Yes.
Yeah.
And does she have great memories of banging Dane? Yes.
And that's when Gino's like, well, that's freaking ridiculous. Gino, come on, man. Just take the hat off. You'll be more confident. I know you don't feel like it now, but you have to face your fear. So Gino is, I think, a little out of line here. You can't try to control someone's lustful imagination. You know, that's going to just run amok, right?
Yeah, she could keep it a little close to the vest.
Oh,
My
yeah,
wife
she
told me
should
she had
lie.
a sex dream about a guy like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? You guys don't do that. You guys don't do that. You have a husband and a child. And you're pregnant.
Yeah.
You having fucking sex dreams about guys?
Yeah.
That really upset me.
It's like when Henry Cavill comes on screen, my wife is like, oh my gosh, is he handsome? I'm like, honey, I'll never look like that. You're aware of that, right? And she's like, yeah, I know.
I start to just like cut them down. I'm like, you know, those boobs aren't real though. Like everything about her is
yeah,
like
right.
everything, like it's like
Yeah.
body, like oh yeah, like, anyone could look like that because it's like like it's not real.
Yeah.
And that's just me to me.
Right,
but
right. That's me too. That's me to me too. All right. So we move on to a sexy, amazing night with Riley and Violet. The back straps are strung in an odd fashion, but they are showing off the frame of one young Violet. She is ready to have a great evening. And Riley is not. Riley is there for blood. This is where he turns the tide. This is where the Spartans mount their attack.
Now, I do want to point out, I believe these two had agreed that they weren't going to get into any drama tonight.
Well, Violet had, because she was in control of him, because he touched her first at the airport, was kind of exercising an abusive emporium over him at that point, where she was like, you're not going to fucking say shit about the past, okay, fat boy? And he breaks that rule
Culture.
this evening. Yeah, it's
Twice.
just culture.
Twice. Brings up dad. That gets squashed pretty
Well, to
quickly.
be fair to him, he brings up dad because Violet says, your dad loves me. And in fact, the last time we were having goat curry with dad, he said, I'm worried that you're entering into a monogamous relationship with a psychotic Vietnamese woman. So he's not actually the biggest fan of her. But then Riley gets his friend on the phone. Rubes, take this away because I think this is what really illuminates who you believe Riley to be.
I mean, she basically just, first of all, I don't know why they're not dating. And second of
Yeah.
all, she just says, she screams repeatedly, why were you on the app? Why were you on the app? I believe there's like a serious service issue. It's probably like he's cupping the speaker. So
Yeah.
Violet probably can't really hear it very well. There's a language issue. And Violet looks at Riley like a little blowfish. She's just like, me?
Yeah.
On the app.
This is the one moment where I felt sympathy for the Snakehead because she was really ambushed here.
Big time.
He goes to the bathroom.
Oh, here, I'm going to let you, my friend Tiffany has to ask you a couple questions. I'm going to take a shit. I'll be back in a little bit.
And he didn't take a shit because him taking a shit takes much longer than he was.
45-minute
Yeah.
minimum.
So sometimes he takes all of his clothes off.
Especially when he has an edition of Golf Digest sitting in front of him.
Oh gosh.
Then his legs go numb and he can't get up.
Where does the time go?
Yep.
And what is happening to my nerve endings because I can't feel anything beneath my knees. But the way that this turns into a true detective episode, like it's Woody Harrelson and it's Matthew McConaughey interrogating the Snakehead. It was so insane to me that Riley was like, answer her fucking question. What the fuck is going on? I was like, whoa. Who's got a bat? Who's got duct tape here? I was very, very concerned for her. But
wildly inappropriate. Riley, any thoughts of me thinking that you're a decent human being have now been washed away. You are, in fact, a demon, just like your Violet.
yeah, just
I hate
like
both
your
of
Violet.
you equally.
Ruby, any final thoughts?
I love thinking about the moment that Riley watched back the episode where Violet talked shit about him giving her the pearls. That's my thought.
All right, everybody. Comment. Join us on Patreon for Vanderpump with Rubes. Instagram, socials, everywhere. What's up, Rubes?
I was going to say, please comment on the cultural thing about Vietnam.
Oh, yeah. That would be helpful. I don't know that that'll happen just because you have to get a specific cross-section of fan. But if
you've been, if you know someone who
Yeah.
maybe has been, maybe you have a Vietnamese neighbor, reach out and say, hey, Vietnamese neighbor, is it culturally normal where you come from to call people fat, ugly?
let us know and follow Ruby at Papaya Dog Girl on TikTok. That's it for us. I am Dylan saying goodbye. Pat, say goodbye.
Later, dudes.
Rubes, say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
There's a lot of stuff on TV, but not all of it's good. In fact, a lot of it's bad.